Welcome back to part 3 of the Bonsai saga. So yeah, we're going to wire up this one, heavily wire it, and just wire the branches on this one, which we talked about in part 1 and part 2. Cool, so yeah, no messing around this evening, because I've got other things to be doing. So let's just get on and do it, and yeah, enjoy the video. Okay, so this one we're just going to wire the branches. I think the first thing we'll do is we'll come in and we'll just take off these needles that are going to get in the way of the wire. We're not going to put too much wire on it, I don't think. Looking at it, I just had a quick scout. It's a bit of a funny time of a pine's life to be wiring when they're this young, because there's not a lot to play with, and you can afford to leave them for a little bit longer if you've got multiple branches on one point of the trunk, so like a handlebar effect. If you've got one branch opposite the other, you can afford to leave it for a bit longer because it hasn't started to fatten up yet in between, because it will eventually. It will create a whirl effect, and then start giving you odd taper. But when the trees are this young, it hasn't quite happened yet, so I might leave them just to give the tree a little bit more vigor, a bit more growth. So treat one on one side as sacrificial. Not sure, I'll probably keep the outside one, to be honest. This one, if you can see in this one here, I'll probably keep, because this one's on the inside. Yeah, it will give body, because eventually I'll probably wire it down a little bit more. We'll bring the apex further over so it's above the nabari. The apex is over here at the minute. It needs to be kind of roughly here. So yeah, we'll just have a tidy up, and we'll just wire a couple, just the ones that I know that need doing. Good to do it now when the tree's young. Also, it's good to get amongst it all, get a feel for what the tree's doing, its growth pattern, strong points, its weak points. I'm not going to take it back to 2s because I do want some accelerated growth. The more needles I take off, the more foliage I take off, the less growth it will have on the trunk. Right, Maple, we've got the kitten in this evening. Little Maples, she's a sweetie. I don't know if you guys can see, my hand's probably in the way. Right, I'm just going to pull them out in there, open up this junction. Right, so we've got 4 in there, 4. We can afford to get rid. You're going to say hello, Maples. This is little Maple. Hello. She's tiny. Yeah, we've got 4. The 3 fairly well balanced, but yeah, I will take it down to, actually, to give it a bit of length, we'll take the one underneath off, and we'll take that one off. So then we're just left with a long one and a short one. This one's more dominant, but that's fine. push out a bit of length. So these smaller ones I won't do that with. I'll leave them to continue growing 3s and 4s. It's only really just to get some wire on the branches I know I need to bring down. So this one being one, and I'll probably choose one of these. That's a good forward one. That's a good forward one, right, Maple? Yeah, so the rest of them I've got out in the garden. I'm going to let them develop a bit more, because you can manipulate them quite easily. The thick branches, they're quite supple, quite bendy. I've got a cat in the way. Come here, Maple. Oh no, come here. Go and find your brother. Got cats everywhere. Kittens. Right. Yeah, he's a bit busy in here. Get rid of these. I mean, these needles will probably fall off next year anyway. The ones that are in here. Does need cleaning up quite a bit in there actually. Don't need that one. Tidy that bit up. Probably get rid of all that actually eventually. All this front bit, unless we keep that as an apex. Quite possibly. They are going down, so I'm going to take the top ones off. The ones that are going up. See, this one's going up. Get that out of the way. This one's going up. This one's coming down. We get the ones off that are going up. Get rid of that one. Clean that out. So yeah, if we keep that as an apex, shorten these, go in and nip them. So if you create an apex with multiple branches in the future, you can pull them down. It's not an issue. You need the tree to have some kind of strength to it. Clear out these. So it's good to be working on bonsai again. I've been sorting out the garden, sorting out the drive, sorting out the back. We're kind of back to normal now with the weather. It's been a bit of a tidying up, bit of a cleaning process. Been a lot of debris lying around. A lot of the roads have been shut. All good fun though. Good fun in the Land Rover. Right, it's looking better, isn't it? Looking a bit tidier. Let's get them out in there. I say these needles will probably come off anyway next year. The last year's needles. It's good. It's good. Right, it's a bit thinner, isn't he? That's better, isn't it? Right, I think what we're going to do is just nip that one in the bud, so to speak. We'll nip this one in the bud. And this one. He's good. Yeah, that's pretty good, isn't it? Not bad at all, I say. It's good. What are you up to, you two? You've got the other cats in here as well. I think they're all hovering for food, even though they're all being fed. Put that one off. Eat for England, they do. They eat more than me. Them and the dog, I tell you. Right, this one's looking a bit busy. Right, what we got going on here? What we got? Let's get rid of these needles on the junction. We can see it a little bit clearer. Can you see this? There's quite a few going on this area. So on this area here, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, and a load of needles. So I think we'll keep the long one. We'll do the same as what we did with the other one. Keep one long and one short. The bud in there, just nip that off. We'll just keep them like that. That's good. Right, we've got 2 coming off here. Right, when trees are this age, so if you can see here, where are we on the camera? Here we go. So we got 2 here, and it's quite close to the trunk. Now these probably doubled out of the trunk when they first sprouted as buds, and normally you'd knock one bud off because you don't want 2 coming out the trunk. But I find with pines, especially pines, when you get that scenario, keep 2, because 2 grow, as you can see, and then the actual part behind the buds will carry on growing. So you will get a branch and then 2 divisions. So it's always worth bearing in mind. Don't always assume that they're going to come out on a double on the trunk. They will elongate. Right, that's looking better, isn't it? It's looking a bit better. Needs a lot of movement putting back into this trunk. But he ain't bad. We can always adjust the angle of it. But at the minute, he ain't looking too bad. It's looking alright. We'll just get these 2 in some kind of order. Fairly rigid. Don't have to go to the end as such, because all we're doing is just pulling the branch down. We can shape it in the future. Just bring him under. I will double coil it around the trunk. As the cats like to run around in the what I call the baby nursery. Alright, Maple. So the kitten's squeaking at me. Come here. Come here, you. Hello. Come up, man. Right, one dead pine. Bless it. Bless it. Yeah, and it's just, these are just falling off. There you go. But it died almost immediately. Well, it started showing signs immediately after I wired it, and I wired them within a week of buying them, which is unusual because they can stay green for months before they show signs. So it was already a goner, I think, when I picked it up from the garden centre. And it wasn't until I'd started having a look, and the reason being, I think, so this is quite important. So if you're in a garden centre and you're looking at trees, give them a wiggle. There's so much movement in this soil. So much movement, which tells me the roots aren't strong at all. I mean, I'm putting hardly any pressure on this. So I think that's definitely what's caused it. Weak roots. And then obviously it might have recovered if I had not done anything to it, maybe, but yeah, I don't blame myself really. There you go. So yeah, next time, yeah, just give them a wiggle. Compare it with others as well. If you're not sure, wiggle a few and you'll find, because these ones, this one for instance, bearing in mind this has been repotted in much looser bonsai soil, it's got a bit of movement, but not as much. I mean, that's all I can move it really until the pot moves. There you go. So yeah, good tip. Give it a wiggle test. Okay, there you go. There's a dead tree for you. I'm sure you guys will never see that. Right, let's zoom back out. Right, now this one. This is the one we're going to heavily wire. But first off, let's just give it a tidy up. We need to select a few branches. We need to determine what we want to do. What we want to do with this one. I don't think we need that. We definitely don't need that. That's clean. Let's get some of that on it just for the minute. Let's take some of these needles back there. I'll leave these needles around this area because it might bud around here. Take them out, clean them up. So we're going to get some wire around the trunk on this one because I want to balance the scarring that I caused the first time I wired it. We've got, not sure if they're budding down there or not. Not sure. Right, so we're looking here. Right, he's definitely going up, don't need him. What we got here? We've got a double one. I'm going to get rid of that underneath one, don't need that. I've got a weak one in there. Get rid of that one. It's quite dominant, this one, but I think he'd be good. So really we want to have a look to see what the staggering is. We don't want too many in one area, which is easier said than done when a tree's this age. Things will open up as the tree grows. He's a good one, he's a weak one, get rid of that. Get rid of that one. And then we got multiple ones on top. We're just going to take that top off. You've got multiple buds on top. You want to push out all these now. So he's a bit sparse, but we can get some wire on it now. So this tree is more about the wiring, getting the shape of the trunk. We can create branches later on with this one. Bring it a bit closer, make it easier for me. Make life easy. Right, let's get some wire on it. A hook. Like that. And I'm going to hook it under the pot, on the rim, like that. You'll see why in a minute. So we just need an angle there to mark it. Get it under there. There we go. That's it. Here we go. Right, I'll adjust the camera and then you guys can see what I'm doing. Come from this point around the trunk, and then we got this wrap. Basically we're just creating a good solid anchor point. If you push it in the soil, you'll find that it will just, the tree will just push the wire out of the way. Right, now what we want to create, which is quite important on this part of the tree. So I want this part here to be more defined. So we got this kind of effect. So I'm not going to bring the wire too close together. So I want big thick rings here, and then bring it tighter on the underside, on this area. Does that make sense? Ooh. So it's almost like a mould. You're moulding the trunk. There we go. Keep it nice and tight. That's pretty good. Pretty good. And then go across the outside of other scars. Right, this area, this is the bit got strangled. So I'm going to do it very relaxed around that. In fact, I might just skip the whole lot and go straight across that whirl. Because we want that to carry on growing. Turntable, I'll tell you what. I don't know why I keep it. Load of rubbish. Yeah. There we go. Now we're talking. It's healed well actually, after I removed the last lot of wire. I didn't want to wire it straight away because there was a lot of scar tissue there. Right, I think we'll have to bring it around that angle, over that elbow, over that elbow, and then strangle this whirl if I can. That's it. We've just got to crisscross what we already done really. So we can do this in stages. I'm not going to create a perfect trunk on the first couple of wirings. It all takes time if you do this. That's why if you let the wire cut in, you are committed really. You got to carry on. You got to keep covering it, masking it. But give it 4 or 5 years, the results are always pretty good. Just got to be careful how much pressure. This wire is quite rigid. Don't put too much pressure on the poor little tray, but I do want to go to the top because I want to try and bend this one a little bit more if I can. Right, there we go. Whew. Good, I like it. Get rid of that. That's pretty good. What I might do is just, so down here, you've got a bit of give there. So it's always worth just doing another anchor point, and you can adjust this, tighten this up as the tree grows, because you'll find it will pull the wire, it will move it. I can hear somebody outside. So you do that, pull it tight, see the tree moving as well, you know it's tight, and then just anchor that around there somehow. There you go. So you go underneath, poke it, go under and then poke it on this part of the pot, stops this wire moving up. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. And if you don't, I'm sure you'll figure it out. Right, it's looking good. It's looking caged. It's looking captured. Right, let's get some wire on it. We'll just wire all the branches quickly, very quickly. Nothing too fussy because, I say, they're quite young. But plenty more opportunity in the future to manipulate them. But the idea is just to pull them down, really, stop them growing upwards. Trap the needles. Yeah, I'm hoping we'll get some back budding on this little branch, because this will be one of the main leading branches, bottom branch. Leverage on this. Yeah. They do set quite well, these little pines. I do find they do set well. We'll get some thin wire actually coiled around this upper part so it cuts in. Give it a bit of gnarliness. There we go. Fingers all sticky now. Sticky fingers. So extreme bending, it's always good to use a pair of pliers. Gives you much more leverage, better control. It's pretty good, isn't it? Pretty good. Bring that around a bit more. That's better. Right, yeah, and as these grow, we can pull these down. He says he's a bit bold that side, but we can play around with it in the future. Yeah, all in all, he's looking all right. Cool. Right, job done. It's all good. I'll just stick a bit of sealant where I nip that cluster off.